In order to code your MakeCrate projects or any other Arduino projects you might build, you're going to need to write some programs. For Arduino, those programs are usually called sketches. Arduino's Integrated Development Environment, or IDE, which is the tool we use to write those sketches, uses a subset of the C++ programming language. Each sketch contains a few sections that you'll need to be sure to include, and in this video, we're going to walk through what those are. Each sketch starts with some declarations. So you can see those highlighted right now. If we're using any libraries, that declaration will be placed there. Libraries generally contain functions that we can use in our code that we don't have to write. We'll discuss both libraries and functions in depth later on. The section also contains variable declarations. We'll discuss variables more in another video, but variables allow us to give names to quantities that we'll use later on. Next, we have the setup. This code runs only once when our sketch starts. Here we will initialize any variables we might have set up in the previous section, define our pin modes as inputs or outputs, etc. And we can start any libraries that we might have listed that we're using for our code here as well. Next, each sketch contains a loop. The loop always starts with the word void, and this is where we put our main code. The loop will run repeatedly until we either force an exit from it or power down our Arduino. Notice in the loop we have some grayed out text preceded by 2 slashes. This is how you write comments in Arduino. So these are great to do. Keep notes for yourself so that you remember later on what it is you were trying to do with each piece of code. Can be really useful for troubleshooting any issues you might have. All right, and the last thing you'll see in this program is another function declaration. So outside of our loop, we can write our own functions. We'll study these more in a different video, but functions are bits of code that we want to use repeatedly. So if we just define them outside of our loop, we can use them later on. So you'll see here we've got a function called degree reading, and up in our loop we actually use that twice. So instead of writing that code twice, we write it once as a function and then call the function. Okay, so now you have a basic understanding of all of the parts you'll need in your Arduino sketches, and you can set about writing your own.